Hi, everyone. My name is Ildiko Zink. I'm one of the pastors here, and I'm going to pray, okay? Is that cool? Okay. A little, yes. Yes, that too. Jesus, thank you for tonight. Thank you for every single person that is in this room, Jesus. Thank you because it is not a mistake or an accident that they found themselves here tonight. And I just pray that they would hear your words, hear the truth, and fall in love with you more than before. Amen? Amen. Okie dokie. So, I was originally supposed to speak next week, but the person who was, supposed to speak tonight fell ill, very ill. And so I had a little tiny time to prepare because I like to leave things on the last minute. And I had this whole 70-hour blocked off this weekend. So I am really excited because that just means that he is doing so much more of what I'm actually about to speak on. So I like to start out with Bible verse. So if we can put up the verses up, please. That would be great. John 15:1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes it so that it may bear more fruit. You are already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself unless it abides in the vine, so neither can you unless you abide in me. And that's it. That's it. That's it. Yes, thank you. I was wrong. I didn't remember if it was till 5, but it's till 4. So can we put the first verse back up, please, and then just leave it there? Okay, thank you. So this clump of scriptures and then the whole rest of the chapter, it's something that we could literally talk on and preach multiple sermons on. And honestly, that was one of my hardest things today, is I had 3 sermons and I needed to pick one to speak to you, okay? So what I want to speak to you about is getting to know the vine dresser. Who is the vine dresser to you through a process of pruning and taking away dead branches in your life, okay? So, right away, it says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. He is the true vine. There's so many counterfeits out there. There's so many things that are trying to come in and present to be the vine, okay? The Bible talks about that the enemy prowls around like a what? A roaring lion. And what is Jesus called? The Lion of Judah. There's counterfeit, and there's going to be counterfeit all around us. And it's so important to know who the true vine is, because as later we read, we must remain in him. So how do you remain in something that you don't know? How do you remain in something that you're not sure is true? And my Father is the vine dresser. Do we know the vine dresser? Especially when he does the taking away dead branches and the pruning. Do we know who he is? I want to paint you a story, okay? A little picture. So I live just down the street in a 2-story, used to be yellow house, now it's green. Well, light green. And in the driveway, of that house, there's about 70 oleander bushes, okay? I kid you not. It's about a length from here to that wall, and somebody had the brilliant idea to plant, okay, I exaggerated. It's 10 oleander bushes, okay? And these oleander bushes were little tiny when they got planted, and now they're really huge. And when I park in my driveway, the first thing that hits me in the face is these oleander branches. And they are irritating. If you cannot tell by my irritation on telling you about oleanders, I absolutely despise oleanders. They are poisonous. Did you know they're poisonous? One cut me one time, and it swelled up, and it didn't heal for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Anything that the sap goes on to just dies. It is a killing machine, It's a torture device, okay? And I have 10 of them every day, whacks me in the face, It's a great visual. So one day, naturally, I have enough. And I think Amy saw me go crazy on these oleanders, but I just take these shears and just go crazy. I'm just like just for 2 hours nonstop. Anything that touched anything, I think Nolan had to cut one of them out because I just destroyed this thing, And I was like death to you, oleanders. You are no longer going to make me a fool. You are not going to slap me again. And I went belligerent. I think Amy, after an hour and a half, came in and was like, are you okay? And I'm like, I hate these things. I'm Googling, can I put Roundup on these things? Anyways, I'm sorry, Steve. I know you love the oleanders, but I don't. Anyways. And then I have this beautiful Japanese maple in my garden, okay? This thing I babied. I started off from a little sapling, planted in the earth. Well, my husband did, and I just, I love you so much, because it helps plants grow and all that, supposedly. Anyways, and this thing is just that branch, Japanese maple is supposed to go out this way, and they like to go this way. So it's we prune it very meticulously, very purposefully, and very kindly, and very just, carefully. And we take time to think about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And the Lord showed me this picture of 2 different kinds of gardeners, wasn't the same person in my case, but the way I treated the oleanders and the way I treated my Japanese maple. And he showed me that so many times in my life when he does pruning, I think of himself, or I used to think of himself as this crazy maniac just hacking things away in my life because it's just something fun that he wants to do. And he's not. He's very meticulous. He's very purposeful. He's very precise. And he's using this illustrative of a vine, right? Grapevines, okay? And if you look up anything about pruning vines and grapes and all those different things, it's very different from just pruning any old tree, even my Japanese maple. It is so much math and precision and purpose that goes into pruning grapevines, because it's a very specific plant. And I'm not going to go into it, but I did spend a lot of time researching it. I'm not going to go into it, but just trust me when I say that he is purposeful. He is very meticulous. He is very studious. Is studious a word? I don't know. Just studies and intentional. Thank you. That is exactly the word I was looking for. He's very intentional. He's not just some maniac that's just going on in our lives, cutting things off and taking things away because he's just having fun with it. Or because, like someone said in the crowd, irritated, or he's angry. It's very intentional. And so right away, I want to ask this question, because I like some reflection time. What is it in your life currently that he's, taking attention away from because he wants to put attention to something else? And what are some of the things that are dead in your life, that are no longer bearing fruit, that he just wants to get rid of? Because those are 2 different things, and we sometimes merge them together. We say, he's pruning the dead branch. No, he cuts off dead branches and he prunes ones that bear fruit. But the goal is remaining in the true vine. The vine trunk doesn't ever get pruned, and the vine trunk is him. But the vines that are coming out of the vine trunk, the ones that are farthest away from the trunk, get pruned, so that the ones closest to the true vine bear more fruit, to have the maximum quality at a maximum quantity. Because you could have all these fruity things in your life, right? But if they're not at the quality that the wine dresser desires at, then he needs to make room so that the things that he desires have quality. So, in the last couple of months, I have been going through something like this. And back in February, Isabel, who was here speaking to us, gave an amazing sermon about pruning in a different way. And that was amazing, and we should all listen to it all the time. But the Lord told me, he's like, I'm bringing you through something like that. I'm bringing you through pruning. And then there was a lot of, things we talk about, pruning. And he just unfolded this process that is to know him in the process, is to know who he is, because the goal is to remain in him. And through that, we will bear fruit, and that is amazing. But to know that who he is in my life through these hard processes that I didn't understand at the time, And so some of the things he pruned from me are guilt, and actually in the Greek, the pruning means cleansing, to cleanse you, so that you can bear the kind of fruit that is spotless and blameless, just like he is. I don't know about you, but when things are being cut out of my life, especially when they're good things, when they're not bad, they're good. Like the guilt and the shame and all that I mentioned, but that was a cleansing part, right? But there was, even recently, he's highlighted things that he no longer wants me to divert energy and attention to, because there's other areas that he wants to do. And in my control, in my humanity, I want to decide what gets the nutrients, what gets the energy, what gets the attention, what gets the input. But see, I'm not the gardener, I'm not the vine dresser. And I think sometimes we act like we're the true vine, we're the vine dresser, and we're the branches. And we're not. We are vine. We are, that's it. Okay? He's the true vine. Jesus is the true vine. And the Father is the vine dresser. He is the sovereign one who gets to decide what stays and what goes. And that's what he's been teaching me. Is he sovereign in my life or not? Is he the one that has ultimate control or not? I get to decide that. Or am I the vine dresser? Am I the one that gets to say, no, not that one, this one? No. I really like that there. Please leave it there. I don't like that you're touching it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Or is it him? And then do we take this process? Because see, I hate to rag on Western civilization, but I'm going to a little bit, okay? So in the West, because I'm from the East, okay? In the West, y'all are grow up in a reward system, okay? And everything is about the reward, right? I work so I can get to the weekend. I wait until I get to the vacation. When I lose that last 20 pounds, then I'll be happy. When I get married, then my life will be good. Okay? That is a very non-biblical mindset. The reward system, looking for the reward, working for the reward. Okay? In the East, I'm not saying this is right, but you work to work. You like it. And you get rewarded with more work. So why do we want to bear grapes? So that we get the grape juice. In their days, it was called something different with some substance that we don't use around here. So we're going to stick with grape juice, and you know what I mean, okay? So we just want to get to the end where we're sitting at the table sipping grape juice with Jesus. But you know what he told me? He said, nothing's more awkward than sitting down, sipping grape juice, or having coffee with someone that you have no idea who they are. It is awkward. Have you ever had that? Where you like invited someone out for coffee because you want to get to know them, but you don't know them. So it's like, so where are you from, right? Yeah. It's awkward. But we want to get to that. We want to skip over this process. But the process is so that we get to know him. We get to know him. So that when we do get to the end of our lives, when we do make it to the table and sipping grape juice with him, we have actually something to talk about. We actually can be like, wow, remember that back in 2023? When you brought me through that. When you told me that you trust me enough to take me through a process like this, knowing that I'll be closer to you, not farther away. So that you can teach me that I'm not alone, that you're with me. So that you could take the guilt that I've been carrying, that I woke up with, that I went to sleep with, that I thought served me. Remember that? Thank you for that. Thank you for that process, Jesus. Thank you for bringing me through that process of pruning. Thank you for taking away the dead stuff in my life that is not producing fruit. Can you put up verse 4, please? So, to remain in him is so that he remains in us. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself unless it abides in the vine, so neither can you unless you abide in me. To abide in him means to be subject to a continuous removing of dead branches and pruning. Just as a grapevine needs to be continually pruned. Every single year it needs to be pruned in order to bear fruit. And whatever just bore fruit that year, it cannot bear fruit the next year. It has to allow the vine dresser leaves new shoots that then become the vine that bears good fruit. So what is it that you're holding on to so tightly that he wants to chop away? Because he actually wants to bring new life and new shoots so that they can bear fruit. That is an exciting music that I hear. Does anybody else hear it? Or is it just in my head? Okay, cool. Okay, good. That's okay, whatever, let's go. So if you want to bear good fruit, if you want to know him, if you want to be in him, that means accepting the call to be pruned by a sovereign God, to be worked over, really, by him, and not having any control in it. You know, and that's the little, what we don't like. And I know we talk about control a lot, but really because we don't like it, But then the counterfeit comes, of just like, well, but that's responsible. If you control it, that's wise, that's responsible, whatever. It's like, no, if you're controlling, and that's not good, So remain in the true vine. Any type of control that removes control from him, you're trying to be the branch, the vine dresser, and the vine. And you're not going to bear fruit because he's the vine dresser and Jesus is the vine. So our job is to just be willing to be completely surrendered and abandoned to him, to a sovereign God. Like he doesn't have to consult us to what he's doing and why he's doing it. But now the relationship comes from in saying, Jesus, I recognize what you're doing. I bless what you're doing. Would you share about this? Would you talk to me about this? Is this something that I can know about? Would you let me into this process? Can I know your ways? And guess what? He's faithful in that. And he's loving and kind in that. But if we're constantly like criticizing, have you guys ever done a job where some old guy looks over you and just criticizes every single day? No, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, And no, remember I'm from the East still, okay? All right, funny story just to wrap up the night. My husband was decorating the Christmas tree at my parents' the very first time he visited them. And my dad was literally sitting in the chair and telling him, that is not how you do it, in Hungarian. So he doesn't speak Hungarian, he speaks only English. But he was so clear about how he didn't like the way he put the lights up that Nolan understood every single word what he was trying to say. Okay, and I have this picture of my dad just like, And I'm like, I do that. I do that with God, And it's like, I don't want to be an old Eastern European man telling God how to wrap the Christmas tree, okay? I do not, and you do not want to either, right? Okay, so let's take a look tonight in our life where we do that. Okay, let's just take some stock where we don't actually believe that he's sovereign, when we don't actually we believe with our minds, but our actions show something different, And then we go with the counterfeit of, this is responsible for me to, try to arrange things that you didn't tell me to. I'm just doing a plan B, And it's not, it's just control. Okay? So true vine, he is a true vine. And the vine dresser, he's our sovereign Father, doesn't need to consult us or anybody else for that matter. Okay? He gets to do what he wants to do, and we get to just be pruned, be deadheaded, be fruitful, even when we don't understand. It's actually the strongest branches that get pruned so that it can give nutrients to weaker ones. So what is in your life that he wants to pull closer to the trunk, closer to him, to be in him, that are weak at the moment? What is it that he wants to say, I don't want you to worry about that right now. You're already strong in that. And actually, that's not really serving you very well right now, and definitely not serving me. But I want you to focus on this, because what will bear fruit are the vines that are closest to him, are closest to the vine trunk. So, let's do that tonight, shall we? Let's ask him, what are some of the things that he wants to quite literally prune in our lives? What is it that's been taken away from him? What is it that's been keeping us out of him, so to speak? And as he does this process, as we're surrendering to this process of pruning, of cleansing, do we actually rejoice in it because we get to be with him? Do we actually rejoice in it because we get to know him? See, every time he does something like that, you get to know a different level of depth of him. You get to know a different side of him. You get to know a different characteristics of him. You get to know him maybe in one area, you get to know him as provider. In another area, you get to know him as protector. In another area, you just get to know him as sovereign God. And in another, the hope of glory. And in another, and in another, and in another. He wants you to know him. He wants to be known by you. He doesn't want to get to the end of your life and have awkward silences with you because all you've done just complained the entire time he was pruning, waiting for the end to come. And guess what? When you're a Christian, when you say, I'm in you and I'm with you, you are subject to continuous pruning. It doesn't ever stop. As long as he wants fruit, there will be pruning. So as long as you have breath in your lungs that you say is for him, you will be pruned. You cannot escape this process. So get with the process. Get with it. Get with it. Find the joy that he has for you in it. Find the closeness that he wants you to have in it. So the altars are open. You're invited to do business where you're at or to do business up here. Get to know him. And get some joy for this process. Get some peace for this process. Get some hope. Because if he's bringing you through something like that, it's because he trusts that you will end up closer to him, not farther away. And it's an honor and a privilege to be trusted by Almighty God. Amen.
Thank you for watching the Father's House Oroville YouTube channel. But don't stop there. Please subscribe to our channel and help us spread the message of Jesus to all your friends and family by sharing our videos. You can also help support us financially by clicking the Give button. Thank you so much for watching. We hope to see you again soon.